Hello, dear dreamers. Welcome to another enchanting evening of sleep stories. Tonight, we'll venture in the heart of magic and mystery, hidden within a golden pineapple. So take a sip of your pineapple juice and travel with me to a distant land where a prince dreams of a princess veiled in enchantment, her beauty guarded within palace walls, nestled inside the golden fruit. Now, get cozy and let the story take you away. In the peaceful cobblestone city of Meadowmere, a young prince named Aidan grew up surrounded by books, tutors, and noble traditions. His days were filled with lessons on the kingdom's storied past, afternoons practicing archery in the palace gardens, and evenings listening to his people's concerns in the bustling town square. Aidan was beloved by the people for his kindness and sincerity, and they often said he carried the spirit of his late mother, Queen Elwen, who had ruled with a gentle but firm hand. Yet, despite the warmth of his kingdom and the love of his people, Aidan felt a void deep in his heart, a restlessness that refused to fade. Though he had everything a prince could ever need, something was missing, a call he couldn't name. Friends and family assured him he was simply overthinking, that he had all he could ever want within the walls of Meadowmere. But in the still quiet moments, Aidan would gaze out past the emerald hills and wonder, was there something more? One evening, as the last streaks of twilight melted into night and stars began to sparkle like diamonds, Aidan had a dream unlike any he had ever known. It was vivid, so lifelike that it clung to him even after he awoke. In the vision, he saw a maiden of breathtaking beauty. She had long golden hair that cascaded like rivers of sunlight, and eyes that shimmered with unshed tears. But she was trapped, imprisoned within the center of a colossal golden fruit, an enormous pineapple palace that seemed both wondrous and tragic, hidden in a land he had never seen. She didn't speak a word, but her sorrow-filled eyes spoke volumes, silently begging for his help. Aidan woke with his heart pounding. The image of the maiden seared into his mind. Days passed, but he could not shake the vision. Her beauty haunted him, her silent plea echoing in his thoughts. He barely ate or slept, consumed by an overwhelming urge to find her, to understand the strange yet powerful connection he felt. Friends and advisors were quick to dismiss his turmoil. A dream is but a dream, they told him. Forget it and move on. Some even warned him against pursuing the vision, reminding him of the dangers that lay beyond Meadowmere's borders. But Aidan's heart would not rest. He wandered the city, trying to make sense of his longing. One evening, as he strolled through the square under a sky full of stars, he heard an unusual, raspy call from above. Startled, he looked up to see a large, solemn raven perched on the arm of a statue. The bird's eyes glinted with something almost human, an old, wise awareness. Its voice low and gravely, and only Aidan could hear. I am Rowan, the raven said. Once I was a nobleman like you, cursed into this form by a cruel sorcerer. My only hope for redemption lies in guiding another soul on a quest of true courage and love. I have watched you, young prince, and I know what your heart desires. Aiden was taken aback, but he listened as Rowan continued. The maiden you seek is real, the raven said, his eyes narrowing with a mixture of hope and sorrow. Her name is Elise, and she waits for you, imprisoned by magic. But be warned, your journey will be long and fraught with peril. Each step will test your resolve. For days, Aiden wrestled with the decision. The call to adventure was strong, but so were the warnings of those who loved him. Yet, in the end, his heart left him no choice. He couldn't abandon Elise, couldn't ignore the mysterious pull that led him toward her. With a heavy but determined heart, he bid farewell to his father, King Aldric, and the people of Meadowmere. Accompanied only by Rowan, Aiden crossed the kingdom's borders and ventured into the great unknown. The world outside Meadowmere was vast and wild, filled with ancient forests, where shadows whispered and winds carried tales of forgotten times. Every step filled Aiden with both a sense of wonder and a gnawing fear of the unknown. The forests were alive with creatures he had only read about, towering treants that creaked and groaned as they moved, playful will-o'-the-wisps that tried to lead travelers astray, and rivers that sung lullabies to weary wanderers. One night, as Aiden and Rowan rested by a campfire, the raven spoke of the trials that awaited. The land you seek is known as the Pineapple Kingdom, Rowan warned, his voice heavy with foreboding. Its guardians are fierce, its secrets well guarded. Magic flows there like a river, and only the brave or foolish dare to enter. The days were long and arduous. Aiden faced beasts and obstacles that tested his strength and courage. He fought off a pack of shadow wolves, their glowing eyes piercing the night, and crossed a river filled with serpents whose bite could paralyze with a single touch. Each night, Rowan shared tales of wisdom and ancient myths, teaching the ways of the world beyond Meadowmere. Then came the swamp, a place shrouded in eternal mist, where the spirits of the restless whispered secrets that made the hair on Aiden's neck stand on end. They spoke of the Pineapple Kingdom, of its golden spires, and the sorceress who guarded its heart. But to hear more, they demanded a price, a vial of his own blood, a token of sacrifice. One spirit hissed. Aiden, though fearful, offered it, his resolve unwavering. As his blood fell into the swamp's black waters, the spirit spoke of a jealous duke who held Elise captive, hoping to make her his bride. The swamp left Aiden weakened, but he pressed on. His journey led him to a healer named Myra, a kind-hearted woman who lived in a grove of ancient oaks. When Aiden collapsed at her doorstep after a fierce battle with a serpent king, she nursed him back to health. Myra's eyes were full of gentle understanding. "You seek Elise," she said, pressing a protective charm into his palm. "Take this. The warriors who guard her will not yield easily. Only the worthy may pass. Aidan thanked her and continued, his strength renewed. At last, after weeks of travel and hardship, Aidan and Rowan reached the edge of a great forest. There, rising from the earth like a dream, was the fabled golden pineapple. Its spiny walls shimmering with an ethereal glow. The palace was surrounded by 14 veils of magic, each shimmering like sunlight on water, and at each veil stood an enchanted sentinel, their eyes watchful and unyielding. Aidan took a deep breath and stepped forward. The air was thick with magic, and the guardians eyed him with suspicion. But when he reached the final veil, an ancient sorceress appeared. Her voice was like the rolling of distant thunder. "Why do you come here?" she demanded. "Why disturb the maiden within?" Aidan fell into his knees, his heart pounding with sincerity. "Because I love her," he said, his voice steady. "Because I have seen her sorrow, and I cannot rest until she is free." The sorceress studied him. At last, she nodded, moved by the truth in his words. "You may pass," she said, "but know that the greatest test lies ahead." Inside the Pineapple Palace, Aidan finally saw her, Elise, more beautiful than he had ever imagined, lying under an enchantment that made her appear as if she were merely sleeping. But before he could reach her, guards clad in black seized him, led by the jealous Duke who had imprisoned Elise. The Duke's face twisted with rage. "You think you can take her from me," he spat. "You will die for your arrogance." Bound in enchanted chains, Aidan struggled to break free. But Rowan, clever and brave, used his wits to outmaneuver the gods. With a daring swoop, the raven loosened Aidan's bonds, and Aidan surged forward, his heart racing. He reached Elise's side, and with a kiss filled with all the love and longing he had carried, he broke the spell. Elise's eyes flustered open, and she gazed at him with recognition, as though she had known him forever. "I dreamed of you," she whispered. "You saved me." Their reunion was cut short as the Duke's soldiers closed in, but Elise, now free, wielded her own magic, casting a protective shield around them. Rowan transformed for a fleeting moment into the nobleman he had once been, helping them escape. Together, they fled the Pineapple Palace, evading traps and soldiers, their bond growing stronger with each step. Just when they thought they were safe, an arrow, tipped with poison, struck Aidan. He collapsed, his vision darkening. Elise's cry of anguish echoed through the forest. But Myra appeared, having sensed their peril, and administered a powerful antidote. Aidan's life hung by a thread, but love and determination pulled him back from the brink. The trials had transformed him, and he realized that love was not just a feeling, but a force that gave him strength he never knew he had. When they returned to Meadowmere, the city erupted in joy. Aidan and Elise's story became legend, and Rowan, now free from his curse, chose to stay by their side as a loyal advisor. Songs were sung of the brave prince, the wise raven, and the beautiful maiden who had been hidden within a golden fruit. Aiden and Elise ruled together, their love a beacon of hope for generations to come. Rowan often reminded them, a heart that knows love knows no boundaries. And so, Meadowmere flourished, a palace where love, courage, and adventure lived on in every heart. The end. If you liked the story, don't forget to comment. I'll bring more like these in the upcoming videos. Good night, my dear friend.